Which has the best backdrop? Ooh, that looks kind of good. Maybe right here. So guys, what was that today? INPX, that was ruthless. That was pure insanity. I'm so happy that we ended that trade positively somehow. I think if there was, I'm not even sure what the biggest takeaway would be, but I think it's pretty easy to say it's the fact that I should have been a little bit more calm when the price was completely ripping down. That was probably a little bit too aggressive on my entry on that one. But we've been super conservative in the last few weeks, and we missed a lot of entries too. So you never really know when is the right time to get aggressive. And this stock pulled up 50 something percent in just I don't know what, 10 minutes or something like that. So this was running, and then that pullback was so aggressive. So I'm happy we got it. I'm just a little disappointed in how I played it, but that's been a kind of a running theme this week. Like a lot of the trades we've been calling out, and a lot of the entries or the ideal entries we're looking at are borderline exactly what we're looking for, or perfect. And then how I play it could use a lot of work. And that was exactly Monday's trade. It was one of our biggest losses of the month. And that actually could have been one of our most profitable trades just because the timing was off. So I want to focus a bit more on timing, and I think that should be really the lesson for today. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the trading station. Let me share with you guys this little song. I don't know if you know it, but I think it's hilarious. It's actually a remix from this guy called Little Bubble, and check out this little ending right here. Let's just start at 155. The song's about to be over, but the ending, I just keep geeking out every time I hear it. Keep your head strong, you gotta hold on. Another big long red dildo. Oh, I think that's gold. I think this guy kills it. I have no idea how this doesn't have like 1 million views or whatnot. But anyway, that's how I felt trading today. We were watching Yoyo and we were watching INPX, and both of them did exactly what we wanted to. I don't know. I'm like on a roll for calling these moves out, but I'm also on a roll for trading the moves that I call out like a complete stone banana. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So I got to really clean up my trading. I got to be a little bit more calm this week. I've been just a little bit aggressive on some of my entries, even though the week before I was way too conservative on almost all of my entries. And unfortunately, we missed that. And I'm sorry, guys. I just realized the recording software is still right in front of me. So let's do the recap for today. We had INPX on our watch list starting off. 15 million market cap, 100 million shares outstanding. It was a little cheap for what I wanted to trade, but I really like the chart pattern. We're going to check out this one in a little bit. We had ASLN. This one wasn't really doing much of anything. We had SLDB, which was just super fun to watch because this thing was crashing all day. We'll check out that one as well. We had a few other ones that I wasn't really paying attention to. And then we had Yoyo pop up on the watch list about 15 minutes before the market opens. And this one, if we had a second trade today, this one would have been the killer. So I'm a little upset that we missed this. It's so painful to only have 1 or 2 trades a day and have to constantly do this jumping around. Once we hit $25,000, those guys, it's going to be good fun trading, and we're going to have so much foundation to work off of. The only thing I can really focus on now is just growing the account faster and faster. So INPX, and we're already doing better than November. We're already up more profits than all of November. So I mean, we're definitely doing that. I'm getting better. I'm getting more consistent, but it just, Okay, so INPX. So pre-market, I got to scroll back because this thing just is out of this world. If you have everything on one chart, it's almost impossible to like really look at it. Let's start with the daily. So the daily, this thing is selling off. This is a miserable looking chart. You typically don't want to be touching something like this because there's only one way it's going, and that's to the downside. And the reason it's going to the downside, and that's the only way it's going, is simple because there's a bunch of dilution. There's a bunch of reverse splits that are just constantly putting this thing down. I mean, this thing will never go back to former highs. It's just it's just impossible. So today, I don't know, I was looking at it pre-market, and we had this really nice afternoon run. This was about 120% rally right here. So this was looking really good. Then we had a pullback and a secondary run. We were holding our highs really nicely. We didn't really get any sort of afternoon crash or pre-market crash, except this little dip here, which I guess you could count as a pre-market crash, but it quickly rebounded really fast again. And this rebound was actually quite nice. It was a 20% bounce. And here you can see that 20% pull to the upside, and then again, another 37% total. Wow, that was a really nice move pre-market. So right on the opening bell, this thing shoots up about 11%, quickly pulls back again, but then maintains this momentum and starts moving to the upside. I didn't really see this till about, I think it was 10 minutes into the market open. So right around here, I actually wanted to buy this at 0.1, something like that, because I really like this trajectory that was on. I like the momentum behind it. Everything was looking really good, but we missed this whole entire run up. And this was a really, really nice run up. And I was waiting for maybe some sort of 5-minute pullback. We did have that 5-minute pullback right here, kind of. But again, we totally missed that one. And then this, I always had a limit order here at around 0.12 something. And, then I was just kind of watching this thing. I was like, oh man, totally took off without us. But I knew there was going to be a time where eventually we get this big red dildo, I guess you can say, or this big red move to the downside, this big red candle to the downside. And I was just waiting for it. And I originally had my order still at 0.12. Then I removed my order because I was watching Yoyo, and Yoyo was going crazy. So I was kind of back and forth between these two stocks. It was so annoying because I had to remove constantly my limit order on one to place the limit order on the other one because I only had one trade. It was just, it was mind-blowing trying to trade this one today. So eventually I didn't have a limit order here, and we had this massive crash. It was just, I saw it right around this crash, and I was like, oh man, we're missing the crash. So I went ahead and entered this order completely with a bit of FOMO, right? I should have been way more relaxed. I should have been like, let's see if what kind of bottom forms, some yada yada. But I knew this was going to be a fast mover. I knew this one was just, a small cap going crazy. I mean, tiny market cap, 15 million market cap, big dollar volume. A lot of traders are looking at this thing, and these tiny dollar value stocks can crash really, really fast based on how the spreads are forming. And you can see right now, it's really holding its highs pretty well in this area. I mean, about a 20% spread, but holding its highs pretty well. But yeah, so we had this big fast dip down. I instantly placed the limit order right around here, 1.36. And then it kept on crashing down. I was down again, like 10% in maybe like 5 seconds or something like that. We had a pretty, I think we were at like 130, 140, maybe even $150. I'm gonna have to watch the replay loss on this one. It was intense. It was a fast mover. I definitely recommend you guys check out the live stream on this one. And then we had a quick pop, and I got out of the position. I was like, whoo, I am out of this one. We were even up $100 at one point. I mean, this thing was just all over the place in these few seconds. I could have held this longer and, had maybe 150 or something dollar exit on this trade. This could have been a nice exit, but I traded this one way too aggressively. I jumped into this one way sooner than I should have. I knew something that runs up, 60+% in just a few minutes is going to have a correction, even a 20% correction. So this correction right here was about 28%, right? So a 28% correction, and doesn't even reach its former highs, that's over a 30% bounce. So you got to be really, really cautious on these because, it's just doing a healthy correction, but these are huge, huge moves, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of these wrong moves. So again, guys, just be very careful, especially when you're, using a new interface. In October, I actually made a lot of little mistakes. One time I made a place to trade with auto send on, and we had a fill that I didn't even want, and just a lot of those little things. So really, really watch out, especially when you're trading with a new platform, learning a new strategy or something like that. Always consider starting with a small account. I have a whole video on how to get started, a very safe way to get started, and the core of that is really just starting small and then just staying consistent, just like we're doing. And right now, December, we're already more profitable than November, so things are looking really good. Again, this was just, I'm happy we had a profit today. It was a small profit. It was only a 3% win, but I'm not too stoked about how the profit actually took place. So let me talk very quickly about the next trade here. And this was Yoyo, and Yoyo was looking really good. Pre-market, let me quickly go zoom in on it. So this is a recent IPO, and you can see down here on the daily, this thing has just been selling off ever since it IPO'd at around $4, and yeah, almost $4 exactly. It just completely has been getting crushed ever since then. And then today, pre-market, this thing runs from $1.27 all the way up to about $1.98, which is a 56% gain. And then we had a really big pullback here, nice 20% pullback. I mean, really big, but really healthy as well. I mean, those are exactly the kind of pullbacks you're looking for. And right out of the gate, we rip on up here. I never really felt comfortable about buying this one. So you'll remember the live stream, I was looking at it, but you know, I should have pulled the trigger maybe right off the gate, right when we pulled back a little bit, found support. So let me zoom in a little bit more. Right in this area, I probably could have pulled the trigger at the 69, maybe took an 8% profit pretty quickly and kind of been done with the day. But I just never really felt comfortable. This one was kind of a slow mover. I knew there was a lot of resistance here. I was just very patient. Again, I was waiting at the 71 as well. I could have probably took this trade. If I had unlimited trades, I 100% would have traded Yoyo right here at the 171 and bought that pullback and then sold even like at 5%. I would have been really quick at that one. I knew we had risk. Where the risk was, or the potential downside. I knew where I would have cut my losses, but I knew that upside was, you know, a clean 7% in like a minute. So it was tempting to want to trade that one, but I let it be. And then we had this big rundown. This whole rundown, I was watching it. I had Yoyo on one screen, and then I had INPX on the other screen. Eventually, I pulled the trigger on INPX. And it's kind of crazy because I pulled the trigger on INPX right around here when the price was right around here on Yoyo. And I was like, oh, I really want to do the Yoyo trade. Like which one do I take? It was kind of stressful to have to choose between these two. We had this nice break to the upside, and then we had that first pullback here. Everything was looking perfect. Everything was looking really good. I would have, if, you know, I even said this, you know, if we have a nice little bounce to the upside and we have a pullback, I would love to buy at a former breakout zone. I probably would have not got this perfect bottom at 156, but even 157, 158, 159 would have all been good spots. And then this thing runs 33%. Somehow I'm profitable with 3% today. I'm not complaining. I'm super happy I'm profitable, especially after we were down 10%. But somehow on two moves that went 30%, I capitalized 3% on it. So I'm a little disappointed in my trading today. It was a little sporadic. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some contemplation with myself later today, maybe over a glass of wine. I think that'll be really tasty. This was the other one we were looking at, SLDB. I originally wanted to buy this pre-market actually right here at 5.75, but again, I was like, this is not a perfect opportunity. I really got to be careful here. And ultimately it was a good thing I didn't, because this bounce wasn't really that great. It was selling off nicely. And the reason I wanted to buy in this area is because this was a former breakout zone. And like I say in all my videos, I love former breakout zones. And what do I mean by former breakout zones? Well, you see this big pullback, then we have a bounce to the upside, and we have a pullback, and here it breaks out from that pullback and goes up 25%. That's a former breakout zone. So as you see, the selling pressure really slows down. We had one dip below, and then we had that bounce right there. And then we stopped kind of watching it. I mean, this thing just kind of kept pulling off. This probably would have been a good short, but again, I don't really short. We have a cash account, and then we have a margin account, which kind of just always never has any trades in it. So that's just how it is. So really interesting today. A lot of stuff moving today. I just, didn't trade it that well, but we're still down on the week a little bit, unfortunately. We're up on the month, but we're down on the week. So we need another one or two maybe good trading days, and we'll be back in the green. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's good fun. I love doing it. Just ready to get our account over $25,000. But, I know we have probably around 6 months ahead of us till that's going to happen. So it's going to take a while, but once the position sizes increase, who knows, maybe And once I get a little bit more comfortable, maybe I'll be a bit more consistent and have a bit more, bigger green moves and let the runners run a bit longer, because one of my things is my profitable trades aren't percentage wise as big as a gain as I was hoping for yet. And I know the reason for that. I know because I've been buying these pullbacks a lot more, and these pullbacks don't bounce as hard. So if I focus a bit more on the breakouts and things like that, I know I can increase that. But I was just doing what I'm comfortable with, and that's a big reason for it. All right, guys, I will see you then tomorrow to trade the opening bell and talk about the watch list at 9:15. Till then, have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy the hump day and stay safe. Make some awesome trades. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.